Good evening, Manchester United fans. Hello, this is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. Welcome along to this Sunday evening update show. All of your Man United news in one roundup show this evening ahead of our massive game against Wolverhampton Wanderers tomorrow. I laugh because Wolves are not really that good this season. In fact, they've not won a game this season, and I'm saying it's a massive game. But you all know what I mean by that. First of all, before we get into that, and obviously on the eve of the game, we are expecting some news and some more comments from Ruben Amorim tonight after 10:30 in Bargold version of the presser drops. We'll cover that in the morning ahead of the game. It's going to be a big day for United no matter what, because the table doesn't lie again. And when we look at the Premier League table, when we look at everything that's happened over the weekend, everyone else has played, everyone else has had their go, and Manchester United can climb up to the dizzy heights of 6 with a win against Wolverhampton Wanderers tomorrow and be literally 1 point away from Crystal Palace, who we beat, who are in 4th. All of that to come, and we'll get your thoughts on how you're feeling ahead of the Wolves game later on. But first of all, what Jason Wilcox said. Yes, you are asking a question. What do you want about Adam? Well, it seems some of the media have released some information or some kind of bit of interaction with Jason Wilcox as he was leaving the Crystal Palace game. And what he said is exactly this. As Jason Wilcox emerged from the Selhurst Park after Sunday's win over Crystal Palace, he chatted to journalists on his way out and urged them to trust the process. Quote, unquote, trust the process. Just sends me straight back to Ten Hag days, and that saying that he always trust the process. It's the plan. Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Remember them days, remember them memes, remember them videos of Ten Hag. Stick to the plan. Trust the process. So what's the plan? I don't know. We bounce back. Bounce back ability. It all starts coming back, but Jason Wilcox clearly has a different view, and his angle on trust the process, I think, is a little bit different to the managers, because the manager is obviously trying to keep a job, and Jason Wilcox is quite comfortable in his, obviously employed by Sir Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS. He would feel like he is doing good things at the moment. Look, I've backed him a lot, and I like the way that Jason Wilcox operates. From what I've seen and what I've witnessed so far myself personally at training at Carrington and things like this, the way he speaks and the work that he is doing, I'm okay. But trust the process. I think the bigger picture here is trust the process. What does that mean? Does that mean that you have to trust Manchester United are going to get it right under Rúben Amorim, and we're going to keep Ruben no matter what? Now, we've had them comments come out from Sir Jim Ratcliffe before, haven't we, where he said that Rúben Amorim needs to prove himself in the next 3 years, that he's an elite coach. Jason Wilcox here, after Manchester United beat Palace, it's easy to say that. Obviously, then we've had to sit through and witness Manchester United's completely inadequate performance against West Ham at Old Trafford. So that's really difficult to dissect right now. And I think this has only been released now by Chris Wheeler of the Daily Mail, because Manchester United didn't get a good result against West Ham. It's on the eve of a Premier League game, so he's reserved that. Why wouldn't you put that out after Manchester United beat Crystal Palace? Why would you not release that? Because it happened on Crystal Palace on that day last Sunday. So you put it out that night, don't you? That's what you would normally do. Off the pot of the press, Wilcox says, trust the process. United come back. Everyone's happy. No. Let's wait until we play West Ham, and then we'll put it out if it all goes wrong. I'll stick that in reserve just to stir the pot, maybe a little bit. Look, I know Chris Wheeler well. He's been on this channel many a times. He's a top guy, and he speaks with passion about Manchester United off the camera and off the press as well. So look, I'm not saying that he's done this deliberately to stir it, but this is the job of journalists. They need to get interactions, and they need to get people clicking on their articles and reading their stuff. It is interesting, and it is right that he's brought this out, because this is Jason Wilcox bouncing out of Selhurst Park after a win. And it's obviously, like I said, easy to say things like this, but the bigger picture in what he has said really revolves around Rúben Amorim, the manager, and whether Ruben is going to be still in situ at Manchester United if things go wrong again, perhaps tomorrow night. It's, I think, a comfortable time to say it going into 2 games against West Ham and Wolves from Jason Wilcox. I just look at that and I go, that's him saying that we're going to be seeing Rúben Amorim for a good while longer yet, no matter what happens. I've said it all along still, though. If he does not beat Wolves, I'm sorry, then that is that's the end of the line. In fact, I've seen a couple of quotes from fans heading into the game, and this is where we're actually at right now with Manchester United. This was an interesting one that was retweeted by a popular Manchester United account as well on X, which says, we play Wolves tomorrow. Bloody Wolves tomorrow. Seriously. They literally have 2 points and we're already in December. I want nothing less than a comfortable win. Anything else, and I'm honestly done with this manager. There are zero excuses to play Lacey or give any of our youth proper minutes. If we can't play them against Wolves in this state, then when? And the lineup should be straightforward. Leach, Delit, Mazraoui as the back three, no questions asked. Dello and Ahmad as the wing backs. Bruno Casemiro pivots. Cunha and Bruno and Xerxes as the front three. I don't agree with the lineup, I'll be honest, but I'm pretty much with the majority of that. I just don't see Shea Lacey playing. I think we are going to start the team near close to what he says there, apart from Leacher. There's no way that Leacher's starting a game yet, I don't think, for United. But this is the vibe. This is where Manchester United fans are at. And Ruben Amorim staying, if things go wrong against Wolves, will definitely turn the fan base even more. We know after the West Ham game, we did polls, we did conversations, debates, and we have a lot of Man United fans. And it's all right, Wilcox backing his man. Wilcox needs to back his man. He has put a lot of trust and faith in Rúben Amorim and his system and what happens. And I always go back to it. I don't think many people pay attention to what I say when I go into this, but when Sir Jim Ratcliffe had his first interview for Manchester United when he took over, and this was way, way back when it first all happened, and it was in the same line as wanting to topple Liverpool and Manchester City. Remember that interview? It was good 18 months ago now when he first came through. We need to dethrone them two teams. That was the task. In that same interview, they wanted to create an environment, create an identity, for Manchester United. And then in another interview, not many people picked up on this, but when they interviewed Rúben Amorim, they then said that he convinced us in that interview that we could trust him and what his identity was. So this is an ownership here and a full management team getting right behind Rúben Amorim from the start. And he convinced them then to change their minds on what they wanted to create, an attacking, fast-flowing style of football. For Rúben Amorim to convince them in that interview, then, and that actually happened, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe actually said that. I can't remember when, it was after it, obviously after Manchester United employed him as the manager, so I can't give you an exact date on that, but it definitely happened. And them then going right into trusting into what Rúben wants to do. I thought at the time, that is a lot of faith quickly, and you've only been through the door a short space of time. That's a bit of a risk. And I just hope that they don't get nervous when making a certain decision, because Rúben Amorim has to be sacked if he's not successful. And he has to be sacked if it looks like they cannot get the right amount of results to challenge for Europe. For instance, if we do not win tomorrow night, then Man United are still bottom half of the table. And that's just not good enough after 15 games. I'm sorry, that's not progress. It's blind progress. To say to fans, trust the process, you need to give us something and give us a sign of progression. If there is no progression, it's just blind faith. And we need something to cling on to. If we could say as a fan base, even the ones that are arguing to throw Rúben Amorim out, that are fully on Rúben out already, if you wanted to argue a point for him, you would at least need to be in and amongst it and competing. You could say, look, right, you might not like Rúben. We've had some bad results at home. You've had a poor result against Everton, a poor result against West Ham, but we're 6th in the table and we're a point off the top 4. A lot of Manchester United fans would struggle to argue against that fully and be all in. Look, I know people will come out and answer back to that and say, I'm all in anyway. I want Rúben out. Look, I know people are going to say that. It's all right. But I think that if you have got something to throw back and progress to show, then you can always argue that point. A draw or a defeat against Wolves, done. Simple as. It's done. 15 games in, having played the worst team in Premier League history, which is what Wolves are on track for, and still not managed to beat them, as well as Everton and West Ham at home in the last 4 games. That's when you are expected to have produced a lot more with more training time and more time with these players over a year into this so-called project and process. That isn't going to be enough for this fan base, myself included. And I've been honest about that. They needed to beat Palace, they needed to beat West Ham, and needed to beat Wolves. They've beaten Palace, they've drew with West Ham. If they beat Wolves, they're literally clinging on. That's still not good enough for me. It really isn't. I think, and I've said this before, the next 5 games, we'll beat Wolves twice and we'll draw with Bournemouth and then lose to Villa and Newcastle. I think that's where we're at. But a lot of fans will come back at me, and the happier fans and the more positive fans will then say, well, Adam, we're 6th in the table if we beat Wolves. Can't really complain. You would have snatched someone's hands off if they'd have offered you that at the start of the season. And I would have. I'm still just not. It's the craziness of this season. I said this earlier on this morning as well. It's just hard to fully get invested into this team, and I've taken that out of the equation now. I said that after, and I'm not getting carried away by another game day coming up at all, and I am fully settled, and I know exactly where I stand right now as a fan. I'm comfortable with where I am. I won't get invested into this team and this manager until they really start pulling trees up. I will just go along with the flow and take it game by game and support the team in the game, critique afterwards, and we'll go from there. I'm sick to death of trying to build up a positive for this team. And this, I think, is where Jason Wilcox is with this. I think he is hoping and praying that Ruben Amorim makes it, because his reputation, I feel, is also on the line here. I think he has got a good reputation in what he's done in football so far, from Manchester City's academy and director there to director of football at Southampton. Short time, yes, but still did a lot of good work there and was very impressive and impressed a lot of people in what he did in such a short space of time, to Manchester United, the biggest job of his career. This is his career on the line as well, I feel, because he is fully behind Ruben Amorim from what I see in this anyway. I want to get the comments in on this now and just get everyone into this chat. So give me your thoughts, give me your personal sort of look on this and what Wilcox has said here. It is all coming down to tomorrow night, I feel, as well. And I think Wilcox walking out of Selhurst Park with a win in the bag, a good win. You can see that now because Crystal Palace are now 4th. They're in the Champions League places, and we've beaten them. The only team to beat them at Selhurst Park this season. Somehow, we managed to do that. I still cannot figure out how we managed that, but we did. So that's a big thing. We can be 1 point behind them if we beat Wolves tomorrow. You can't argue that you're not in it, can you? That's what we're stuck with at the moment. We're stuck between what we're watching and the net performances from United and us actually making progress up the table. It's crazy, isn't it? Right, let's get some random comments in on this. Scrolling up, and stopping right there on Silverback, who says, got to win tomorrow night. And if we don't, then questions should be asked. He's crumbling under the pressure. It's his job to get the best out of these players, and he's hurting them. Evening Adam in the chat says, Andy, hello everyone who is just joining us right now. Get into the live chat. We're talking about Jason Wilcox comments in passing the media after the Selhurst Park game in saying, trust the process. I take that as a Ruben staying, and there is no chance that he is leaving Manchester United. I don't know what you think. Get in here. Let me know, everybody. Can't beat 10-man Everton. West Ham at home. It's so embarrassing, says Powman. That's Power Moxer 8. Some of these YouTube names do confuse me. Steve Charles there with a straightforward one for me to read. Thank you. I am at the stage now where I am actually hoping we don't draw a non-league side in the 3rd round draw tomorrow. We never thought we would possibly lose to Grimsby. Look, in terms of the FA Cup draw tomorrow, I think it's exciting because we are in another competition, and that sounds weird me saying it, doesn't it? But just to be in something else away from the Premier League would be nice. This has been a really hard season to watch for United, and Premier League game after Premier League game makes you feel like you don't belong at the top, doesn't it? It makes you feel like you are a smaller team or a poor side. And that's no disrespect to anybody else that doesn't usually get up into the Champions League places or European places either. It is just what it is. For Manchester United, it is an embarrassment. I'm sitting with my iPhone in my ear, listening to Adam share with us when out of nowhere I started to hear Gary Neville chatting in my ear. Somehow, the YouTube video changed. Hey, get out of there, Gaza. Get me back on there, Gregory mates. Ignore what Gary Neville's saying. You don't need to listen to him. He's fence sitting again at the moment, Gary Neville. He's swaying from side to side. Even his analysis cannot handle what's happening at Manchester United at the moment. The football stinks, and I will never do results-based analysis. Results are what keep people in jobs, though, aren't they? That's the thing, and that's the debate, isn't it? It's like the wrap-up Haven says there. It is arguing amongst ourselves about what's good and what's not. People always say the table never lies. Have we just fluked the whole first third of the season by being in 6 if we beat Wolves tomorrow? Honestly, I cannot get my head around it. It is hard. And I was still looking at that table this morning and going, I don't get how Man United have been given another chance. I really don't. Feels weird to come to this point again, says Couto the Red. Yeah, I know. Another opportunity for United. Joe says, do you not just think Wilcox is in it for the money, Adam, and save cost for INEOS and run the club, and he will be benefited financially by Jim? I don't see that, mate. No, I don't see Jim being that generous with his money, to be honest, mate. Like, everyone talks about him being a Scrooge type. Manchester United have only just started the Christmas party back up again, so for the staff. So, yeah, I don't see him giving anybody more money than they are actually on right now. So that's not into it, I don't think. Andrew says, yes, we can recover by a win tomorrow, but we need to start playing well. Otherwise, if we continue like this, no chance of qualifying for Europe. Look, this is the last get-out-of-jail game for Manchester United. I think that's where we're at right now tomorrow night. After this, it's Bournemouth, Aston Villa, and then Newcastle. 3 teams that Manchester United really don't have outstanding records against. And last season, Newcastle did the double over us. Bournemouth took 4 points off us. Funnily enough, Aston Villa only took a point off Man United last season. God knows how that happened. But the way that Villa are playing right now, my God, they are pulling up trees, and some. They really are. Thank you, everybody, for the likes as well. Please do keep them coming in, and your comments alongside that as well. More news from Manchester United. Quickly from Chris Wheeler again. He's been saying a lot. I want to bring up the transfer side just quickly in this one, because if Manchester United do go into the transfer market again in January, it will be to accelerate a deal they had planned for the summer rather than make any panic buys. So people that we were obviously talking about already in the summer, and all avenues lead to the Conor Gallagher transfer. That's basically what Chris Wheeler is saying here in this one. I said my piece on Conor Gallagher. That was on this morning's show. So that really is all we've got to say on that. Again, it's not a major update, just keeping you up to date with what's been said, that there is a different stance from Manchester United. This was another interesting part of the Chris Wheeler piece today as well, though. Listen to this. This is an interesting one because it made me laugh, actually, at the end of it. So, listen, this is what he has said. Manchester United learned from the expensive mistakes of the past when they overpaid for transfer fees and wages for big-name players like Angel Di Maria, Paul Pogba, Alexis Sanchez. The club now try to move more quickly on targets to get ahead of their rivals and prevent costs from spiralling. Director of Football Negotiations, Matt Hargreaves, is one of the few existing executives to survive the Sir Jim Ratcliffe cull. United's approach to recruitment includes what INEOS insiders have described as I'm going to say this because it's Sunday night. It's gone 7 o'clock. What INEOS insiders have described as a no dickheads policy. I take great pleasure in saying that word as well, because I actually look at these players. I know there is split debate on Angel Di Maria, Paul Pogba in particular, and Alexis Sanchez. I don't think they are, you know what I just said there. I don't want to keep saying it. But again, I get the stance and I understand where they're at. It's kind of like another approach to what Manchester United are doing and a different way of writing it. I think a lot of people have said the same thing over the last few months about Manchester United's transfer strategy, and I think we kind of knew this anyway. But Chris Wheeler is definitely reading into what Manchester United's approach was in the summer here and then making something out of a January possibility. But look, the journalists need something to write about, and honestly, without games, Manchester United are killing them right now. So you will see quite a bit of the regurgitated stuff from the summer, and then month after month you'll get some of the similar stuff. I think Chris Wheeler's just put a different spin on it there. In terms of the investment, again, from Manchester United, and people are asking me what INEOS have done. Look, they have put money into Manchester United, and there is another 50 million going in as part of a 50 million upgrade at Carrington. A bespoke emerging talent dressing room has been built in the first team building with a handful of lockers and showers for the young newcomers and fringe squad members such as Tyler Fredrickson and Shea Lacey, so they can change, eat and receive treatment alongside the seniors. Didn't know that is part of it. If you have bought one of them £100 tickets to go and tour the Manchester United Carrington training ground facilities in the summer, you will probably get to see that firsthand. Michael Sansonzi is said to have taken the data operations to a new level. The aim is to create a better alignment between the senior and emerging talent scouting departments. Kyle McCauley has been appointed head of senior scouting and will start on January the 5th, having worked with Vivell at Chelsea. The emerging talent department will have 3 regional leads focusing on the UK, European and Americas. What about the African market? I'm not sure why we're not into that one. But yeah, that was pretty much the full update from Chris Wheeler on what was happening around Carrington. A bit more of an update from the INEOS side of things as well. Santiona has again confirmed that Manchester United are keeping tabs on Ayoub Bouadi as well, the young 18-year-old holding midfielder from Lille. I don't think Manchester United are going to spend money on him in January. I've already explained why I don't think that is happening. But again, proof that United are interested in Bouadi. Again, more journalists talking about this. But there is major competition for Manchester United. Remember when I went back to the Friday video and I was explaining how Manchester United need to act now and not allow this continuation of low standards and what's happening on the pitch for the first team to continue, because we will miss out on targets. How the hell do you compete with the likes of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Arsenal, PSG and Juventus for Bouadi if you're not in European football? It's because he's already playing Europa League now. So why would he not? Why would he go to United when you've got them juggernauts all in for him as well? This is what I was getting at. This is where United need to be. So eyes on INEOS and making certain decisions. The Jason Wilcox bit that we spoke about at the start of this show is a little bit concerning for me, not just because it reminds me of Ten Hag, but it also it makes me feel like there is a big push here to stick with Ruben Amorim no matter what, just to prove that they picked the right man. And if that is sacrificing the league and they go down that road, then a lot of opinions will change about INEOS and Jason Wilcox from people like myself who wants to give them the chance and the time to actually show that they can run Manchester United better. So it is a worry. I'm not overly concerned at the moment because I do think if results continue to be bad, then we are going to be looking at Ruben leaving anyway. But I also remember the comments that were made from a certain journalist talking about INEOS and their approach to Ruben Amorim and Manchester United this season. It was more about results rather than actual progress in performance for Manchester United that was important this season. That seems to be a bit of a, I don't know what the right word is or how to explain this here. It's a change of actual target there, really, isn't there? But we wanted to see a team progress, play a different way, actually show us that we can be entertained by this team and play attractive football and move up that table. European football and a 6th place finish is okay for Manchester United this season. Look, fair enough, we're back in Europe, but again, it does seem to have been a push towards how the table's looking rather than how we're playing. And we just mentioned that a minute ago, haven't we, as well? And I'll get more comments in on this. I mean, can you look at the table and honestly say that Manchester United have progressed? Are you going to ignore the fact that we are further up the table and you can't argue with what it says? That's, I think, a question that every Manchester United fan is struggling with at the moment. Some might not be. Get into the comment section now. I'll bring that up, actually, and see what everybody's thinking. Thank you to Andy, who has just dropped in 5 memberships into the chat. I really appreciate that, Andy, mate. Love that. That's great. And the community is banging again, everyone. Please make sure you remember, I said it this morning, there have been certain people that have been long subscribers and viewers of the channel that have been getting a bit of jip, let's just call it, and a bit of backlash from their opinions in the chat. This community here on Forever United TV is for everyone to have an opinion and an open opinion, as long as it's not insulting and it's not one of them types of comments which is really going in on someone embarrassingly. Then you're going to be fine here on this channel. Just don't be overly critical of people to a point where it turns into an insult and it goes beyond. Not everybody's opinion is going to be the same. Please get in there and join the community and get involved in the debate. It's not an argument. Look, we get heated sometimes. I get heated. We do. And that's just because our team isn't performing the way that we want. So we have to accept that there are going to be some people that are just really upset and angry about it. But you come in here to vent, you come in here to express yourselves and how you feel about your football team. And that is what it's all about. That's how it should always be at Manchester United, within our fan base. And unfortunately, the club and the way it's been run has pushed us away from that. And there are certain people that do just drive one certain narrative and only one, rather than looking at it openly, and are willing to change their opinions and minds about certain things happening. I think that's how you've got to be. Wayne says, Adam, it could be a lot worse. We are finally getting rid of the last of the problem players, whereas Liverpool are just getting started with the pre-Madonna attitude problem players. Oh, yeah, we talked about that Mo Salah story this morning. It was absolutely crazy, wasn't it? Love Amorim, and I think he could do great things if given time, and I'm disgusted in these players most of the time, but if we draw to Wolves, I'm done. I get the whole new squad and coaching staff, never mind a loss. I like that one there. I got sucked into Kieran's comment there. I was thinking he's going to give me a whole paragraph here. I didn't look further down it or skim read it or anything before I opened up and started reading that. I think he was going to give it a whole build-up there of how Ruben can turn this around. And he went, but if we draw, then I'm out. Done. See you later. I think a lot of people are in that boat right now, I think, Kieran. You're not the only one, mate. And it is. That's it. That's where you, like I just said there, as a United fan, I've hit your limit. And that's totally fine. Everyone's got one, and everyone can express it in the chat here. So get in there and give me your thoughts on it, everyone. Wolves have won 0 games since April this year. What the F? They must be the worst team in Premier League history. John Smith, I think I said exactly all of them words about 10 minutes ago on this show, mate. You are dead right, buddy. They are the worst in Premier League history. They're on track to be the worst team in Premier League history. And United have got them in front of them to beat them to be in 6th position in the league, a point off Champions League football. And after our debacle of a result against West Ham the other week, we have actually got closer if we beat Wolves a week on. Again, how? How has that even come about? It is madness, isn't it? It really is. But look, it is going to be a interesting game tomorrow, and look, I'm not expecting it to be easy. I'm not expecting Manchester United to have an easy ride, but I'm expecting Manchester United to win it. I would like a comfortable game, but I can't even get confident enough to say that Manchester United should be beating the worst team in Premier League history comfortably tomorrow without their best player in João Gomez as well. He's suspended, of course, after picking up a yellow card in their last game against Nottingham Forest, so it is going to be difficult for me to take if there isn't anything but a comfortable win. I'll accept a win just because we just need to keep going. It's like we got into positive goal difference, Manchester United, and thought, hang on a minute, let's put the brakes on and stick it back in reverse again. We're getting too comfortable here. Let's bring it back down a notch and accept that we are just that mid-table team. That's what keeps happening every time we get to this position. It's not on. Stop it. Just go for it, for God's sake, and give us something to cheer about. I'm quite relaxed, and you can probably feel it in me, actually. I'm not nervous at all for the game. I'm relaxed. I'm at peace with where I'm at with this team now, and I know what they're going to do to me throughout the season. I gave them a chance first third of the season, and I've actually seen enough now to know that I cannot get fully invested into this team. I'm just going to let it be what it is, what it is, basically, with Man United, and I just don't see it changing anytime soon. So that's my strategy as a fan going into these games. Please keep the likes coming in, everybody. Loads of you have liked already. We're well on our way to 200 while we're live, which is fantastic. The fact you have no comfort in tomorrow's match is an incitement of itself. Look, I am. That's where I'm at. I don't think that it is going to be a comfortable day. Adam, if Wolves come out and fight, then we might roll over. I hope I am wrong, says Pete. I hope you're wrong as well. Is everybody in the same opinion here right now? If Ruben doesn't get the win tomorrow, he has to go. Give me simple yeses and nos in the chat, please, on that in the comments section. I'm not going to make a poll about it. Just put your nos and yeses in there. Simple responses, everybody. Thank you. How did the manager even get the job, Adam? As he relegated Luton twice. Hi, Adam. Would you be interested in bringing Carrick in as a bringing in 2,000-year team players on a coaching team? No. Carrick as an interim. Man United should already have another manager lined up, mate. Is how I see it now, I think. If you're thinking of moving Ruben on, you have got to move him out. I asked the question just a second ago there, and the chat has responded emphatically. In that, if United lose tomorrow, is Ruben Amorim out? Yes, 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 yes. No, says Paul. The only no. 2 is Desire She. Is that how you say that? Desiree. He says no. Sorry if I'm saying names wrong again, everybody. I do it a lot. Apologies. I'm exactly the same, Adam. I don't trust this team. Wolves will fight and give everything. Can you say the same about our side? They lack quality, but will outwork us. The low block will make us struggle. Ooh. Yeah. That low block again. Scared of low block. How can you be scared of a low block, honestly? How? Be prepared. Wolves will go all out. Nothing to lose attitude. Use your eyes tomorrow and be honest. Will our players down tool to get Amorim sacked, or is it the system? Is it really Amorim? Be smart. I'm always smart, Rob. I'm always smart. The eye test is what I watch, and which is why I actually said, if everyone listens back to my vlog and my reaction after the West Ham game, was that let's get this straight from the off first of all. These players are an utter disgrace to the shirt. Amorim aside, they're a joke. An absolute joke. That's what these players are. And do you know what? If they do down tools again tomorrow, then they're going to get every single bit of stick coming their way from everyone, including myself. But Amorim, I will be watching Amorim tomorrow as well. I will be judging him on what he does and everything that he actually does in-game. I think that's important to look at as well, because that's where his biggest critique has come from, I think, in-game management. So I'm going to be watching Ruben, I'm going to be watching the players, and it's going to be a really interesting one against Wolves, because like everyone says in the chat there, that they are a poor side. They're a dreadful side, to be honest. And if United cannot handle that, then you look at Ruben, you look at the players, you look at moving absolutely everybody on at that point, don't you? You do. Get some more comments in on this. Being a lazy footballer is nothing to do with tactics. Look, they've worked, but they're not brave enough. There's being lazy and then there's being brave. There's having the balls to actually play the right way, to play the way the manager wants. If you don't like it and you're not fully invested in that process or that plan, then you are always going to fail. You need to be fully on board with the system and everything that the manager is telling you. And if they are not, and it doesn't look like they are, then we start to call out the management of Ruben Amorim and say they are not listening to you, mate. You are not doing enough to get the best out of these players. And that's when you start to look at Ruben's side of this as well. And we're never going to let these players off. I don't think any of us have. The amount of shows that we have done where we've gone in fully on these players, everybody's seen them, everybody's commented and got involved in the debates that we've had with it. And I think we've we've fairly criticised every single one of these players that's in this squad. I think it is where we're at right now as a fan base, and we're not going to allow them to get off the hook tomorrow night. For God's sake, like, this is going to be an absolute, it's going to be an absolute onslaught. It's going to be a massacre tomorrow from the Man United fan base if Ruben doesn't turn up with this team and beat Wolves. An absolute massacre. You think Liverpool have got problems right now? Wait to see if Man United don't win that game tomorrow. The calls for Ruben to be out will be, I reckon, around about 75-25 in a whole, around the whole of Manchester United. I really do. I think that's how drastic it will get. That's how bad Wolves are, and that's how pathetic it will be if Man United don't get the win tomorrow. And that's where I'll be in terms of my critique and what I actually think as well. So, yep, I'm fully ready for it. I'm prepared, and I want Manchester United to go out there and tonk Wolves and really give me something to get my teeth into tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. In other transfer news, by the way, I forgot to bring it up a moment ago. Galatasaray, as you can see across the bottom of your screen, are monitoring the Manuel Ugarte situation. Obviously, the player is going to be sold by Manchester United, and Galatasaray are ready to pounce. I can't see Ugarte surviving. We've said it several times before. I think Turkey probably is a good example of where his level is at right now, Manuel Ugarte's. He is not worth Manchester United's time, I don't think. There is nothing more that he can do. There's nothing more that he can develop. It's quite clear after Ruben sold him from Sporting, Enrique sold him from PSG, United have just given him a chance to revive his career. And again, we're seeing why them previous two managers, Ruben himself, has got rid of him. He just isn't good enough for Manchester United. So gone, and Galatasaray looking. What Man United will get for him, I have no idea. I really don't. We was talking about Marcus Rashford this morning. If you wasn't on the morning show, Rashford's situation at Barcelona looks like they are not, from all accounts, going to be renewing the Marcus Rashford contract or giving him the option to sign. They're not going to take up that Man United £26 million option, and he is going to be heading back to Manchester United. If Rashford comes back and Ruben's not there, is anybody else scared that Rashford will actually still fit in at United? Or are the directors of football like Wilcox and Vivell and everything that they have got, Omar Barada, the new management team, are they going to stand firm? Do you feel comfortable that they would still stand firm and kick Marcus Rashford straight back out again and sell him? Even if another manager fancied him, for instance. I mean, Marcus Rashford has, what this season is it? I think 6 goals and 9 assists, something like that. Getting close to 15 goal involvements. It's not bad. It's probably his best goal involvement record in God knows how many years. It is in an easier league. Do you think someone would be tempted to bring him back? That's another question we were talking about this morning as well. And it's a difficult one because a new manager would probably want to look at all the players again. And that's the scary part of getting rid of Ruben. We don't like the way he plays. We don't like what's happening right now with United. We're still not impressed or convinced. But a new manager coming in is like starting all over again. I actually feel like this is what's actually being thought about by the likes of Wilcox, Vivell, Omar Barada, the necessary people at the top at Man United. They're scared of doing this all again, I think. That's where we're at. I would like to see Shaw at left wing back and Martinez as a left centre back. Ahmad on the right wing back, Mazraoui right centre back, and hopefully De Ligt central defender and back. That would be interesting to see if we find out anytime tomorrow whether Matthias De Ligt is actually back in the side. Where we at with Harry Maguire? He was apparently close to getting back to fitness for the game against West Ham. Could we be seeing these players come back in? Very, very interesting, and I'll be intrigued to see and look on that as well in terms of the team news coming out tomorrow. We'll have all of that covered in the show starting 8 o'clock tomorrow morning as well, everybody. Don't forget as well, for the game tomorrow, we are running my predictor game as well, everyone. Get in there and give yourselves a chance to win big money. They're the predictions for the predictor game, everyone. They're your options. All you have to do is click on the link that is in the live chat right now and get involved in this. It's dead straightforward. Be in a chance to win yourself a few £100, have a bit of banter and a joke with us as we run this game live alongside the watch along tomorrow, everybody. Dead easy to play. All you have to do is pick 6 of these 7 options here as predictions for the game against Wolves. You only have to pick 2 to play. You don't have to pay anything. You can play it for free, but it's better if you just put a little bit on it and try and win a bit of money. As little as £1, as much as you want, up to about £8 as well in there. Nothing major, because obviously gamble aware. Make sure that you do obviously spend to your means. So there are your options there. I mean, if you look at it, it's dead straightforward. Will there be 2.5 goals in the game? Or will there be under 2.5 goals in the game? Basically, will there be less than 3 goals? Yes or no? Mason Mount to score or give an assist? Yes or no? The first half will end in a draw. Yes or no? Wolves will score in the second half. So on and so forth, through all of the options there, everybody. Get involved, get into the leaderboard. A few of you already have got your options in, as you can see there. I want a few more on that leaderboard. I want to get a few more people competing, and hopefully we can get some FUTV winners on that as well. But that is the prediction game, which is going ahead alongside the watch along tomorrow, everybody. So make sure that you're there. We'll be starting approximately around about 7 o'clock-ish tomorrow, ahead of kickoff against Wolves. Excited. Should I even dare ask people in the chat right now about what their score predictions are for this game? Should I? Rosie's in with a super chat as well on the night. What is your ideal replacement? A young up-and-coming coach or a more established name? At the moment, I think Manchester United would do better with an established name. Someone with experience. Maybe Premier League experience. Look, Marco Silva hasn't accepted his job at Wolves yet, or his contract extension. He is going great guns. Some people would say that he would be a good manager. Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace, beating Fulham today and being 4th in the league, with 0 money being spent and losing their best players, and being in Europe. That's some going. It's actually embarrassing what Glasner is doing at the moment compared to some other managers at big clubs, mentioning no names, but the obviously that we know and been talking about. That there is, I think, prime target number 1. But I could understand if people actually were thinking that a more established manager would be a better option for United. Greg says 8-0, 2-1, 3-0, 2-1, 3-1 to United. John's going for 1-1 draw. I think there's some people there putting results in hope that Ruben does get the sack. Look, I don't know if Ruben is going to be sacked tomorrow. I'll just give my opinion thinking that he should be sacked if he doesn't beat Wolves. Because that is just, again, an embarrassment, and that's not progression for me. It's nowhere near enough for Ruben Amorim. And I think that will be the final straw. It should be the final straw anyway. Glasner would do better than Ruben here. Says Ezzy, I'm giving it Roy with why not? Roy Keane. I don't think he'd stand a chance. Going off our story this morning, I don't think half the players would even want to speak to him from that story that we ran this morning about the players' agents moaning about what's been said by former Manchester United players and pundits in the football world right now. Are they too soft, or are the pundits going too far? That was the show earlier on. Make sure that you do go and check that out, everybody, as well. It was my choice when we last were talking about sacking him a couple of months ago. Emery is going nowhere now, is he? Wow, what a turnaround he has had at Aston Villa. Amazing stuff from Unai Emery there. And, well, 3 points off Arsenal at the top. This goes to show, if you get it together, then you can be a real challenger and really push in this season, in this league. United are nowhere near consistent enough. And Villa's side is better than Man United's side. I don't care. Their squad is stronger and they believe in their manager. And that's why when they didn't win for the first 4 games, didn't even score a goal for the first 4 games, still trusted in an Unai Emery. And he has got them to second in the league from there. The man is an absolute genius. He really is, isn't he? How he's managed that, I do not know. But credit to him and Villa for their position. I get what you're saying, Adam, about this game. In a typical season for a typical club, that would be enough. But we need to stick with him. With him, I think. No pressure. Small clubs, though, Adam, managers always do well and then fall at the bigger clubs. Look at Emery at Villa. He could do it at Arsenal. Did Arsenal really give him a proper chance, though? He went away and then came back. And I think it's the managers that go away and then come back that actually do become successful later on. So I think that's something to look at as well. Please do get your comments in when the live has finished, everybody. I'm going to wrap things up there. You are completely up to date with all the Man United news. Give me your thoughts on them trust the process comments from Wilcox. Is that the obvious, like I said earlier on? If you trust in the process includes Ruben Amorim. And no matter what happens tomorrow night against Wolves, he is going to be in that hot seat for the foreseeable future. We will see. And of course, anything else that you want to talk about in the comments, I'll have a good look through them later on. Have a great evening, everybody. Fantastic. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone in the chats for being absolutely brilliant again. Gifted memberships and super chats as well. Don't forget the link in the live chat and top of the description is for our predicted game against Wolves tomorrow. Be with a chance of winning yourself a few £100 in that, everybody. Join the leaderboard. Make your predictions 6 max, 2 minimum out of different match events that could happen against Wolves tomorrow. Like, share and subscribe to Forever United TV. I will see you all in the morning, everybody. Have a great evening.